Hello, everybody out there in the internet. Welcome to Aimless Babblesy, episode 377. I'm Chris Ham's Tech Master, joined by...
RPG Main Echo 5.
And Traptical.
So yeah, we've got some what you've been playing, a middle segment about indies on the Switch, and some news. So, let's see. I'm still playing Axiom Verge. Haven't made a lot of progress. So nothing really new to report. Same thing with Mass Effect Andromeda Apex missions. I might be done with them because, you know, they stopped supporting the game. So it's like it kind of just every time I play it, it just makes me sad of like, no more Mass Effect for like 5 to 10 years. How does it make you feel, Tekken? How does it make you feel? And then like yeah, it's just like a repetitive cycle of like a circle of like, you know, I go to play the game, I get sad there's no more game, and then and then I'm just like yeah, it's just like I just what am I doing this? Why am I doing this to myself? Why am I doing this to myself? Besides that. I probably play some Destiny, whatever. If not, I'll play it like one more time this week and I'm deleting it and I'll be free. So yay. Where's the Arkham thingy at on here? Something. Here we go. So
Arkham.
I played Arkham, or rather, Return to Arkham City, the PS4 remaster version. Yeah, still awesome. Still a great story of, man, that third act nails the landing like very few games do, and it is so delicious and just, yes.
Oh my.
And then, Catwoman has, like, still the best character design of, like, man, that was just, so good. Meow. Let's see, what else? Combat's still awesome and fun and great. And, yeah, just the whole, man, yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff. You should play it if you're a fan of Batman and you're like, I need more Batman in my life, and you'll love it. Let's see what else did I play. I think I played like one more thing. Oh yeah, Everybody's Golf. So the credits rolled, so I'm done with that game. I mean, there's more after that, but it's like, dude, it's like grinding, and I'm like, yeah, I've had my fill of grinding for the last 3 years. I'm out. Mic drop, and I walked away, and I was like, I'm moving you to the external hard drive. Everybody's Golf. I might come back and play it, but it's like the only reason I'm going to play is so I can just like play online with Buff and beat him and like humiliate him and just make him feel terrible about himself and feel great about myself. It's great. That's how PvP works. That's why I don't do it anymore. But yeah. Though I guess we could maybe play on the same team in like a turf war thing, but yeah, it's still PvP. So. But yeah, it's like really interesting the way they did the story in that game. It was like you have ranks that you move up, and every rank there's 3 bosses, and then you go to the next rank and just keep leveling up. You have like this meter that goes up, and like once it fills, you get the next boss character that you fight in the verse mode. And it felt very much like a shonen of like Goth, because every character was like so weird and zany.
I love shonen.
And like the farther you got, the harder they got. And it was like the weird, like the more esoteric they talk about Goth of like, it's not just a sport, it's a lifestyle and a discipline. And like, it's like, whoa, dude, whoa, we're playing Goth here.
Well,
Like,
in all fairness, that's how anime treats everything.
and I was like, this is weird, but whatever, but it's pretty cool. And also, it's also cool, like, when you beat all the characters, you get, like, all their clothes, so you can, like, cosplay your character up as, like, characters that you really like or something.
Wait, it's like street racing? You beat them and you take all their clothes?
That's not how
I
street racing
don't
works.
think
Stop
street
people.
racing works.
But
Like,
that
I
is
don't
what
know what kind of street
happens.
racing you've been
Well,
in.
no, but with the car. I've never been in.
Practical. If that was
I
the
meant,
same,
like,
you'd be taking their
Need for
clothes and the balls,
Speed.
not their clothes. Just saying. Golf balls, I mean. Just to be
But
sure.
you just said you get all their clothes.
Yes, you get all their clothes, so you can, because you can customize your character and like make them look. Oh, that's another thing, by the way. I finally made my character. I finally figured out how to like make them like a dude. But then there's like an afro, so I just put an afro on them, and I was like, oh, everything's solved. And then, like I took the sunglasses off, and I was like, that's weird. I don't know, whatever. Maybe I just like look at the character. Whatever. I'm not gonna go there, but like it was weird. Anyway, made my character look like a dude finally, and I was like, yay, they look like a dude now. So that problem solved. But yeah, you can just like have a bunch of weird stuff that you customize, and even on your caddies, you can like change their like their voices and stuff. And in your character, you can have different voices and emotes, or not emotes, but like animations and stuff. And different swings. It's weird because they all look the same to me. So I'm like, why would you even? Whatever. I can't tell. Whatever. Maybe there's like some that are like
Can you
super
get the
different.
Happy Gilmore?
Happy Gilmore. Which one's that? I don't know. Tropical. I haven't.
With the running start?
I don't think there's a running start one in that game.
Oh.
But there's a lot of stuff that you can change, so that's neat. And oh wait, yeah, there's like a daily thingy in it. Like you can log in every day to play the online course for like a prize and gold. So I've been doing that because, you know, with Destiny out the way, I have like other games I can just play every day for the fun and not hate myself. Now it's great.
Other dailies to do.
Yes, other days. I mean, I don't have to do them. It's like, well, I get some sweet costume thingy, but then it's weird because like I keep getting like cosmetic accessories for a female character. I'm like, what is going on with the game? Like, what is it trying to tell me? That's like giving me high heels every time, high heels and earrings, and like I'm a dude. My character's a dude. What do you?
Tekken, they're telling you to live your truth. So live your truth.
I live my truth. So yeah.
I don't think you are.
Well, I am. So
I don't think you are.
yeah. But yeah, it was a nice game, and then like towards the end, since I'm taking hiatus off YouTube, I wasn't even listening to the sound I played. I'd be like, let me listen to this podcast, or let me watch this YouTube video, or let me just line up some other thingies while I do this, and I just do it in the background. All I actually do really is like time your shots on the three button input aim system, or whatever they call it, the 3-tap, 3 something. But yeah, it was a nice, fun break.
Triple tap.
A nice relief. Triple tap.
I think that's what they called it, right?
I don't know
back
about
in
that,
Hot Shots?
Tropical. That is
triple tap.
that is a Destiny term. I'm not sure if that's the same term that they apply in
Destiny
everybody's
has a
golf.
triple tap?
Yes, Tropical. When you shoot 3
Remember
primary
when
or
you
3
Oh, right.
precision shots, you get 1 bullet back.
I remember now.
remember before they destroyed it and made it the worst gun ever? Yeah.
My brain. I was talking about stuff and Tropical interrupted me. But
Yep.
that game, Everybody's Golf. It's nice. Oh yeah, it's a nice fun break from all the madness in the Darkest Timeline of just like, dude, I just want to have fun and play a video game. Okay, I don't want to block myself off and like tunnel vision in, and we're gonna hit the links, and I'm gonna hit some balls around into some holes, and it's gonna be a fun time. And then I finished the game in like a week, and I was like, oh well, back to the Darkest Timeline. So, oh, okay, more terribleness is happening. Yay, whatever. I guess on to the next game, which is like not until Samus comes out. That's a 2DS game, so I need a console game. But I've got plenty of my backlogs, so that's fine. I think I'm gonna switch on to XCOM 2, and the backup game will be Hellblade. I'll play it on the weekends, so that's what I'm going to be playing after today. Oh, actually, I'm gonna like do like a farewell stream on Disney, but it's like whatever. So it's just gonna be like me being like, well, whatever. It's like one more trip around the sun in my spaceship, around the planet, whatever, around the solar system, doing stuff in Destiny, and I'll be done, and that's it. But that's all I've been playing this week.
I played a lot of different stuff. Although, not really. I basically looked at my heart. So I went out, and a weird thing happens to me every time I go to a store that sells games.
You buy a bunch of them? That's not
I'll
weird.
be-
You do that all the time.
Well, that's not weird. No, the weird compared to other people. The weird thing is, this time I was at Best Buy, and I was looking at
Gross.
PS4 games, and then a couple came over, and the wife said to the husband, "Do you want one? Like, this is the only time I'm gonna say yes." And then he was kind of like giddy, and then made a crack about how he's the one who's gonna be paying off the credit card and all that, and then yeah, they started buying, and there was another dude there who was like considering a PS4. I guess he was there with his dad, maybe, and they were buying a TV, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm thinking of PS4 too." And they started talking, and it was like, I think this is the term "blind leading the blind." Like both of them were like, "So what's the difference between pro and regular?" And the other guy's like, "I don't know."
That is
And then
great.
the first guy's like, "Oh, I don't know too." And then they're just like,
Buy all of them.
and I'm standing there, and it's like, "Ah." And I had to leave because like I was almost going to go into selling mode and like sell them all the stuff because that's what I do now, or that's what I want to do. But I was like, no, I'm not gonna do
This
it.
is your chance, Tropical. And
It's
you
like no
ruined
Tropical.
it.
Those days are beyond you. You've grown as a person. No longer will you be the retail servant of the olden times.
I keep thinking I will be back though, because it's like, oh man, like it makes me very happy. Because then, like, I listened to the guy who was selling the TV, the second guy like came over and was talking to them about PS4 stuff, and it was just like all wrong and missed opportunities. Not wrong, like factually incorrect, but it was just like missed opportunities. It's like the first guy, the first thing he said was like, yeah, PS4, and then the other guy's talking about, oh yeah, the controllers, like, we need wireless ones, and then the second guy's like, oh yeah, like they're all wireless now. I was like, oh cool, and then he just jumped into PlayStation Plus. He's like, oh, you have to pay for online though. And then they both start talking about how they have no local friends. And I was like, well, that also missed opportunity there for you guys. And then at one point, the wife was like, oh, she wanted something with zombies in it. And the husband's like, yeah, she wants something with zombies. She wants to kill things. He's like, yes, I want to kill things.
Oh, that's
and
healthy.
the guy handed her The Walking Dead season 3, and I was like,
No.
what the?
I mean, you kind of do, but this isn't what you're looking for.
I don't think that's
It's like
like they may like it, like people fall in love with that game, but that is not what they asked. And
Mistakes
yeah,
were
the
made.
PlayStation Plus thing, man. Everyone should get PlayStation Plus. If you buy no games, you should just get PlayStation Plus.
Yep.
Anyways. Yeah, so that's the side story of being at Best Buy. The second thing I noticed was, so I'm looking at all the games, and I was like, oh, I want that one, and that one, and that one, and that one, and that one. And then that turns my mind to, oh, I have that one, and 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 I need to play.
See, that's what always happens to me. Is like it's like I don't have like the bunch of them. It's like I see like the one, but then I'm like my frontal lobe is like, no, Tekken, backlog. You're doing one at a time now, or you're back. You're on a schedule now. Okay, we're not going back to that. Just kill whatever you want, and then maple syrup. Okay, there are pressing issues here, and we don't have time for you to go and treat yourself today. Okay, and you get all in tomorrow, and then. Do you want to be the guy that's like, well, I could have made it. I could have made it to the great northern territories of promised land, safetyness, or do you want to be stuck in the dilapidated, decrepit infrastructure that's crumbling and stuff going down and every day, not just, it might be this week, it might be this month, yeah, no, it's every day, you gotta get out of here, Tekken, get out of here. It's like, okay, voice in my head, okay, you don't have to go that far, okay, just let me look at the games, have a good time of like what I could play, and then I'll come back to play, okay, jeez, oh. It's like, yeah, Tekken, don't ever think that like that again. That's why I haven't bought any games lately, so, yeah.
I like how the different parts have different, like, voices. Well, mine is, like, very clear that it makes no sense to buy anything, because I would look and be like, oh, Berserk, Band of the Hawk, that, like, Dynasty Warriors style game. I was like, oh, I want that one, and it's on sale. I should buy it. And then I stopped and was like, wait, I haven't finished the Attack on Titan one, which is also that type of game, so this makes no sense. Or it's like, oh, the new, there's like that expansion pack to the Naruto game, and I was like, yeah, I want that. It's like, but I haven't finished the 4th one yet. It's like, so that doesn't make sense either. Or it's like, oh, the new Yakuza's out. It's like, oh, I want that, but I haven't finished any of them, and I have like 5 or 6.
I have that problem too.
So yeah.
It's like, yeah, I can't get the Kiwami games because I haven't finished the non-Kiwami ones. So when I do, I'll come back to you.
Like, Kiwami is the only one that makes kind of sense to get, because that's a remake of the first one.
You can just start from the beginning.
Yeah. But no, I was just like, I gotta go. I must leave this place before I sell someone something or start buying things on my own. And I came home and I was like, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through every game on my system and just play a little bit of them. Just so they're not shrink-wrapped anymore, quote-unquote. So, the following list of games, I have only played maybe 20, 30 minutes of each. And I bought these based on their art. So I have most of them, like, I had no idea, or by reputation. Like most of them, I had no idea what they were before I played them. So I started with Zombie Vikings, which is it looks like Stick It to the Man, which was like an adventure game. Except it stars these zombies, these Viking zombies that Odin rises from the grave.
In case you didn't know, this game has Zombie Vikings.
It's like, well, I mean, it is in the name of the game. It's not. It's very on the nose there.
But no, he raises these Viking zombies, and then he orders them to go recover his glass eye from Loki, and then it's a beat 'em up. And so far it's pretty straightforward. Like you can grab, or I guess the zombie part is you can grab each other's bodies and like throw them at stuff.
Chico, wow.
Like in Chippendale or Battletoads.
Yeah, kind of. Except I guess you don't get hurt because you're a zombie. There's like a hippie guru zombie head that you find, and he like talks to you about, it's like, oh yeah, because you're a zombie, you know, soul and mind separate, blah blah blah, and like your body doesn't matter because you're a zombie. And yeah, I guess that has four player co-op, though possibly only local co-op.
Ugh, who does that?
But it is yeah, it's a beat 'em up. I was like, oh, I did not know that. That's cool. Next up, I went for Flame in the Flood, which I saw the trailer for, and I thought the music was really nice. And then I played it, and it turns out it is a survival game where you have to go around and gather things, and then craft things, and then not starve, or go thirsty, or get too cold, or get too tired.
Starve together.
Yeah, it's basically don't starve,
Enemy
except Animicus.
The Animicus edition. Yes.
The only difference is don't starve. Well, as far as I've seen, takes place primarily on land. And Flame in the Flood has a large, I guess it's like a really big flooded river. So the areas that you can scavenge for stuff in are all separated. They're like little islands in a river that you have a raft to navigate with. And the raft also takes damage just from like running into rocks and stuff like that. And so you got to manage that as well and like fix your raft when it gets broken. Pretty well. It seems like there's a lot of stuff. Again, I've only played about half an hour of it, and I died at the end of that because at one point I got off the raft and I was like, oh cool, there's like there's a wild boar over there, and then it seemed like it was trying to warn me not to get too close, and I was like, oh, what
did anyway?
What's and it rushed me, and then like you have sort of like Doom, you have the face, your face at the bottom of the screen in the center, and I was like all messed up after that. I was like, oh no, this is terrible, and I didn't know how to like drop items I didn't want, so I couldn't pick up more things, and then I couldn't pick up. I needed food, but my backpack was full, and I couldn't pick up any food. And then, yeah, I basically starved to death.
Did you bring anybody that you could Animicus?
No, well, I guess I could have ate my dog.
That's not.
Oh yeah, you got a dog. No, but I think in a fight, the dog probably would have won because I was pretty messed up. Yeah, it seems like there's a lot of stuff. I will definitely play that one more. Oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna play Zombie Vikings more. That looks it's funny in the way of Stick It to the Man. even though it's a totally different type of game.
I almost gotta say, it's like the Lost Vikings, except
You only play
not.
one, and you're a zombie Viking instead of a regular one.
Super disappointed. Missed opportunity, guys. Missed opportunity.
Then there was a game I picked up a while back called Guns, Gore, and Cannoli, which looks...
One of these things is not like the other. One of these things is a pastry.
I think Guns is not like the others. The other
I
two
don't
are
know.
organic.
I mean, I guess, except that, one's a pastry and not associated with violence. I mean, I guess unless you choked somebody with a cannoli, in which case that just seems unnecessary. But a
And-
delicious way to die.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that game. So I picked it up because it looked like it reminds me of the art style of Shank from Clay Entertainment, and I was like, "Oh, cool! It looks cool." And it also has 4-player local co-op. Don't know if it has online. It's what is the genre? I guess it's like it feels like a beat 'em up, but it's basically like Contra. So you you're a mob enforcer, and and I think his last name is Cannoli. And
that
also like
makes
Cannoli is
a bit
the
more
health
sense.
item that you pick up. But yeah, you have a pistol at the beginning, and you walk through 2D side-scrolling areas, and you shoot tons and tons of zombies. Or, sorry, it's not tons and tons of zombies. It's just enough to be threatening. Like that's why I say it's sort of a beat 'em up feeling, because it feels like there's less enemies than there would be in like Contra, for example. And then you have like machine guns and stuff in Contra, and you kind of have machine guns in this game, but your ammo is limited, so only your pistol has unlimited ammo. Pretty cool, pretty fun. Although so far it seems a little bit easy, because you also have a kick move. So they have the shambling zombies, and they also have the running zombies. And the running zombies in large numbers can be really dangerous. But you have a kick move, so when they run up on you, you can kick them back pretty much forever while you reload or whatever you need to do so that you can kill them all. Yeah, so far I think it's pretty fun. I will definitely play more of that one. Moving on to Crypt of the Necrodancer, which I misread over and over. I always thought it said Crypt of the Necromancer. And I was like, oh, it's Necrodancer.
Playing a lot of games with a lot of dead things in it. Just want to point that out.
The darkest timeline.
Basically.
So Crypt of the Necrodancer is a roguelike type game.
Ew.
Gross.
It's like it's like an isometric view. Well, not really. It's a top-down view. And the interesting part about it is that you move to the rhythm of music. So imagine like A Link to the Past, right?
Mm-hmm.
But instead of moving freely with the direction pad, you can only move one square at a time. And then on top of that, you can only move on the beat of the soundtrack. So it has sort of it's pretty upbeat, and then you just sort of rhythmically are tapping the directions that you want to move in. And then the enemies only move when you move. And so I'm trying to think of a game that's like this. I don't think there's a game like this.
I mean, there are games that use
like
different elements of it, but not all at once, kind of thing. With the enemies moving as you move, or like moving to the beat of the rhythm thingy and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, it's neat. Like, so the challenge comes from the enemies move when you move, and so you sort of you try to anticipate where they're going to go, or you can sort of like watch where they've been, and then you know where they're going to go. They sort of have like patrol type routes, and if you happen to like miscalculate and then jump in front of like an attacking enemy just as they're attacking, then you get hurt and like you're doing poorly. And I did that a lot, so I should know.
Wills.
But yeah, so it's sort of interesting in that you have to you have a very short window to decide where you're gonna go, because it's just like in between the beats. It's like, okay, that's when you decide, you know, am I gonna go up, down, left, or right on the next beat? And it's, you just sort of think rapidly, and I guess like all roguelikes, you learn by dying a lot. Yeah, this one is it's a bit, I don't know where the game is going. 30 minutes was not enough to really tell me where this game is going. So well, you know what? I should just leave off these judgments, because of course I'm going to play them again. I bought them. Yeah, it just
that hasn't stopped you before.
I will play them unless I die, which could happen.
It's a distinct possibility, because this is the darkest timeline.
But no, this one is more like I will play it more to figure out what the heck I'm playing. Yes. And then the final one I spent just a little bit of time on was Volume, which is from the maker of Thomas Was Alone, which I really liked a lot. The platforming game about different
rectangles and or squares.
Yeah, different rectangles.
It was an odd game. And
That game
Thomas was alone.
great.
Truly alone.
So this game has sort of that feeling with the narration and stuff, but your character also talks, and it's mostly like a stealth puzzle game that is very conscious of its minimalistic aesthetic, and actually it talks about it in the game.
Yes, it's very meta.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, these diamond things, let's just call them like precious precious items that I don't really have the time to make, you know, thousands and thousands of precious items, so we'll just call this minimalistic. I think it's a much longer game than I thought.
Yeah, it was a longer game than I thought it was too. I was like, man, this goes on for a while.
Yeah, every level I've played, it says you have completed 1% of the story. It's like, oh, so there are 100 levels. Great. Yeah. So this one, like, I like stealth games, although there's no predatory stealth, so that makes me sad. But yeah, I will play more. All right, on to the games that I actually played. Oh, and one I forgot to mention to Tekken before the show. I got Mario XCOM. Mario, I forget what the name is.
Mario
Something
Rabbids Battle Kingdom.
Battle Kingdom. That's right.
You didn't mention Volume either, so you know, whatever.
Did I not mention Volume?
Nope. Luckily,
My
I already had
bad.
an image from when I talked about it the one time.
My bad. Yes. This game is cool. It is. You know what? I'm gonna skip this one. I haven't played it that much.
Wait, what? I don't.
I mean, like, I bought it because it was Mario XCOM, and what did I get? Mario XCOM, except without the base building. And you, like, run around an open world, sort of. Or, not really.
Getting finally murdered every 15 seconds by new aliens popping up.
Yeah. It's far easier. I think, like, the difficulty balance is really nice. It never feels like things are really unfair. So that's cool. And
But you don't like fighting hopeless battles?
I do. Why do you think I play Paragon the way I do?
Also that.
But no, yeah, it always feels like the challenge is just enough. Like, you can't really haphazardly do stuff. So, for example, one of the missions is not sort of like a regular XCOM type mission where you just have to kill everything. It's there's like an exit that you have to get to, and I guess the new rabid enemies just keep popping up, and so you just have to sort of manage getting to the exit while managing like the number of enemies. And so you have around like 200-300 HP, and they do around 30 to 40 damage per hit. And so you only have 3 characters, and in this one, like, at the most I saw 6 or 7 rabbits. So they can definitely kill you, but like if you're careful, you can you can get out of it. Yeah. Well, what most impressed me this week was my toddler like beat the first mini boss in the game, and I was like, that's crazy because she can't read. And I don't know if she understands the cover system and all that, but somehow, like, won.
So easy, even a child can do it.
But I played it and I was like, this is not easy. Like, I could definitely die and fail this mission right here.
Although we did establish a while ago that your daughter's a better gamer than you, so there's also that.
Maybe. Yeah, I really like it so far, so that was me skipping Mario Rabbids.
He talked about it anyway. He's very bad at this.
I finished Tekken 7's story mode because I don't know why it took me so long to get into it. It just wasn't. It didn't grab me in the way that like Mortal Kombat or Injustice have. So Japanese developers are still catching up on the fighting game story modes, and it gets really weird in the end. And
it's really weird at some points.
How weird are we talking? Because now I'm curious.
Like it's actually kind of funny because like there's one part where Hayashi talks down or sits down with a reporter who's like he's like giving an allegory of like how he discovered this whole Tekken Zaibatsu blah 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 thing. And he's like telling the story of like, you know, that's how the story is told of like I was investigating this report about the G Corporation versus the Tekken Zaibatsu in the war across the planet blah blah. And then I was like called in one day to talk to this Hayashi guy. I was looking for clues and stuff, and he sat me down to talk about this demon wife of his. And it's like, what? And it's like at that moment in the game, it dawned on me. I had an epiphany. I was like, you know, this is kind of super weird. Like the entire time I've been playing this franchise, I never thought, what about Kazuya's mom? And it's like I was like super weird. I was like,
well, because isn't Kazuya like part demon or something?
Yeah. Well, so, I always thought about Kazuya's mom because I always thought Heihachi was the one who had the demon thing, but then it was like, wait, why did he? Is it like Highlander? There can only be one. Like, why did it?
Yeah, because like it's weird because like then like you also have like Jinpachi, the father of Heihachi, who's like in another game. But then it's like at that point I didn't think about it either. I was like just like, But I was kind of thinking about it, like, as far as, like, the lineage of, like, okay, well, how did Jin get it? Because it came from Xia, but then does Hayachi have it? But then they finally explained it, and it's like, oh, that was super weird, because, like, you know, didn't see it coming. It's like, well, I guess you kind of did, because, like, it makes sense of, like, why in Tekken 3, Hayachi was so obsessed of, like, I must have Jin's blood. I must have Jin's blood. It's like, oh, okay. And it's like, yeah, that was super weird. But, yeah, I didn't think about that.
Well, there was, like, I think Tekken 3 had, Jin's mom, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's why I thought, it's like, wait, what about Kazuya's mom? Yeah, like,
It only
I
took them, like,
actually
20
thought
years
that
to
part
put her in a
was
game. So weird.
like, like, how they incorporated Akuma into the story was, like you said, it was like, that was pretty cool. But no, what I found was weird at the end was like, Heihachi is the hero? Right?
I honestly don't know.
Like always the villain.
I mean, he kind of
You're
is.
doing, like,
he is like
You're doing like super heroic stuff at the end with Heihachi, and it's like, wait, Heihachi is the hero?
Wait, is it heroic relative to normal Heihachi? Because I mean,
like,
or is it like actually heroic stuff? Like he's saving Girl Scouts and stuff.
It's like hero stuff like in Dragon Ball Z.
Like hero stuff, like
I
Vegeta
don't know how much
heroic or
I don't know how
heroic,
much I should
like
say.
actual heroic.
Do you think people will care?
Because
We
once
say too
again,
much.
Vegeta's a hero in the sense that he just likes to fight. So by consequence, he happens to save the world because he likes to fight things, not because he's actually being heroic.
I guess I would say like heroic in the face of great odds.
That didn't really answer anything.
Like when you play it, you're like, wow, like it is going down. Like everything is crazy, and I don't know how he is standing up, but he is. And then, yeah, it just like feels super heroic. Like you're doing super heroic things. I thought that part was really cool. It took me like, did you find the game difficult, Tekken?
Yes,
By the end,
yeah, the ending gets nutso on the
like there was that part
difficulty
where
spike.
it shows you the life bars, and I was like, what?
Yeah,
but then
it's like you have no
it's,
life.
like,
Have
sorta
fun.
different. And I was like, okay, that's like you have like reduced damage, and I was like, oh, okay, that's
You
fine.
get like stacks and stacks of debuffs put on you. It's like really,
Yeah.
whatever.
It
Game.
was really neat. Like, the boss fights feel like traditional game boss fights because they have patterns that you can learn and then figure out. And I was like, oh, this is, it was like, I think, it doesn't feel like Street Fighter boss fights at all. Like Street Fighter boss
They're,
fights
like,
just feel
super
like,
cheap.
yeah, they feel super cheap, and they have just everything, and there's just no way to. Sometimes the AI just wasn't smart, and then that's why you won, or that's why I won. And this one is like, oh, like the AI does the same thing mostly the same thing every single time. Like, not everything. Like, there are sort of like keyframes, key moments that are always the same that you can learn and avoid lots of damage or like do lots of damage. And then there are other parts, like in between those keyframes that just, they play like a regular fighting game. And I was like, this is really cool. Like, I did not expect the fights to be like this. And yeah, it got really strange. Heihachi was the hero, but stuff goes down, and I was like, okay.
You still never verify whether he's actually doing heroic things or just like relative to his normal Heihachi-ness, because
He kind
No, he's
of
being
is.
normal Heihachi, but it feels like he is the hero of the story. Yeah, it feels like he is
It's like
the
his
protagonist.
motivations for like he's doing. Well, he's not really doing anything bad, but he's like, from his perspective, you can see why he's doing what he's doing, and like feel like he is like a good person in that.
I
that
think
light.
they call things like that villain protagonist. I don't know if you understand that he's probably still the villain,
You
because
should
it's him.
see it. It's It's pretty cool, actually.
Villain protagonist. It's a thing. Kind of like that anime, the one that we watched, the Akame ga Kill one. Because it's like, yeah, they're heroes technically, but they are murdering a bunch of people. Like a bunch of people. So yeah, still murderers. But
The only people Heihachi has killed are his children.
yes, so that
But
sounds
they
fine to
didn't
you out
say
loud.
that.
Like, it's like he's not that bad of a guy. He's only murdered his kid.
So it's okay. No. Yeah. It was pretty cool though. I thought it was pretty cool. Then oh no. What is it? Oh, two more. So I spent some time with Dead or Alive Extreme 3. And it has a subtitle, but I can't remember what it is.
Something weird ninja guy.
So I've actually only played the first one of this, and I found it to be like a really chill game that is basically a dating sim, except like you are no one. It's like the girls just are being friends with each other by giving each other gifts and stuff. And it was sort of like you had to make your own fun. So it was like, okay, I'm just gonna play lots and lots of volleyball, and then try to get this girl to wear this thing, because there are no objectives in this game.
This doesn't sound inappropriate at all.
Extreme 3 has objectives. Like, there are missions that give you more money. So I guess like the end goal is still sort of the same, like make lots of money to buy certain swimsuits for certain characters. But the difference is like it doesn't feel as aimless. Like it tells you like, yeah, go do this thing, and then this is how you get more money and such. I was like, oh, perfect. And it's really like the types of missions. Like, there's just more stuff to do than the original. The original one just had... There was like a few, maybe one or two pool games, and then just beach volleyball. And this has...
This one has butt bumping.
And like the casino. Yeah, this one has butt bumping and like tug of war. And
which also
and then all the other
for
stuff.
Some reason.
Yeah, and like beach flags, which is getting up and running really fast to get a flag.
I think I saw a gamer playing that once.
I remember
All of
that.
this sounds crazy, but...
And he was like, I can't get her to wear this very revealing swimsuit. It's the worst. It's like, maybe you're just not giving it to her right, Bouchica Wow Wow?
Well,
But,
so that was the thing. I think in the first one, it was very, like, opaque. You had... If that was your goal, you really had no idea how to go about doing it. And this one... Like, a lot of those things are just really transparent now. It's just like, oh, the more fun they have on the island, the higher their satisfaction rating. And then they'll be more willing to accept certain gifts and stuff. It's like,
As long as they're satisfied, Bouchica Wow Wow. It's still...
Basically. So yeah, still really chill, but like, far less directionless than I think the previous ones. I spent a lot of time playing blackjack, which is I started thinking, it's like, wait, like, so counting cards is just math, right? And then
More or less, yes.
More or less. And you don't do it in real casinos because it's frowned upon by the casino.
But it's not illegal.
It's not illegal. They just, will be very upset with you. And I was like, can you count cards in this? That would be kind of cool. that's as far as the thought went. I didn't look
a
up
moral
how
gray
to
area.
count cards.
It's slightly more complicated than it sounds, actually.
It's pretty complicated. But no, it is just like math.
It's a lot of math.
It's a lot of math. But math nonetheless. Yeah, I don't know. At one point I was just like, I just want to see what happens. I just want to finish one vacation. Like, that's the structure of the game. It's you pick one character and then you go on this 14-day vacation. And each day is divided into 2, 3, 4 parts. It's like, and you can do one activity on the island in each of the parts, except for the 4th one where you can only go to sleep or go to the casino. And sometimes it's like, I just want to see the end of the vacation. And so I was just like doing the quickest activities just to see the end of the vacation. It's like, oh, nothing happens at the end of the vacation. It's like the island doesn't explode or anything like that. I think that's what happened in the first 2. Like, really dramatic
stuff or something.
Yeah. But then, yeah, at one point it was like, one of the missions was win a hand of blackjack with blackjack. With a blackjack. And I was like, I have no control over this. It's just pure luck. And yeah, it's just like
real life.
And I was like, can I count cards in here? I mean, who's gonna care in this?
And then the game does like send up like a message like, you were found counting cards. Like, how did you know?
They kicked off the island. Oh. And then finally, I played Super Hot. Also, finally. So I got this one because it looks really cool. And all I knew was that time only moves when you do. And so you can do these like really crazy like action movie sequences, because it all happens at basically whatever speed you want it to happen at. So mostly it happens in slow motion, and you can make these crazy awesome looking scenes. That's what I knew about the game. That part was really cool. There is a second part of the game that is really weird and actually kind of creepy, which involves the narrative.
Do tell.
And it's about like Super Hot is like this game. Like, you have this sort of virtual desktop, and then Super Hot is a program, a game on it that someone sent to you, and you like go into these chat rooms to chat with your friend. And then the makers of Super Hot, I guess, like, they find you and you get trapped, and they make you, quote unquote, and this is all going to be intentionally vague, they make you kill yourself.
What?
And then you become one of them, and then it's like, yeah, play more Super Hot. Share it with your friends. Hit the share button. Share it with your friends.
Of the ring.
It's like, at the end of it, I was like, I do want to play more of this, but I also feel like they sort of established your in-game character as kind of a rebel to make this story work, and so part of me is like, I don't want to play this anymore just to be rebellious against this, I guess, cult I've joined. The cult of Super Hot.
You joined a cult, by the way.
It's very strange. I finished the story, and then it unlocked an endless mode that, explicitly told me to play lots, share with your friends, get them to play Super Hot. And I was like, this feels like really smart marketing stuff, but also really creepy marketing stuff that I want no part of. but the gameplay was cool. So that's what I've been playing. Oh wait, and Paragon, of course. But I guess there's not too much to be said there, except I've sort of given up on finding card combinations, because I feel like I'm bad at building decks. Maybe I just need to just mess around more in the game and sort of figure it out that way. But since I haven't been playing that much, because I was away and I was dying, yeah, that hasn't happened. All right, so that's what I've been playing.
Darkest timeline.
Darkest timeline. So many weather events.
And it's not over, RPG. Just saying.
Yay! I want off this train.
Are you even playing anything RPG?
I mean, basically just Paragon. I haven't played like a lot of stuff because reasons, but you know. But yeah, I mean, it was the second week after new character week, and things are going normally, I guess, functionally. But yeah, nothing new to report, really.
Okay, moving on to the middle segment this week of a topic I came up with on Twitter after I watched Nintendo's Nindy presentation. I was like,
Indies.
this seems familiar. Like, it's almost like they took someone's playbook and just copied all the plays, and they're like, let's do this, we can do it too. And I was like, yeah, let's do this. And basically, here's the verbatim text that I typed into Twitter. And I was like, hey RPG, hey Tropical. Thought of a weekly topic for the podcast. Do indie games compare to AAA games, and do they need to? Since Nintendo is using Sony's indie game strategy they used early on for PS4, but not as heavily now that PS4 is stacked with games now. So, 2 questions. Do indie games compare to AAA games, and do they need to? Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
I think they do now.
Depends on what you consider an indie game, because some indie developers or independent developers are relatively high profile.
To me, there's like 3 categories of like how you would categorize a game as indie, and it'd be like development, team size / budget / whatever, and it would be like the type of game that they're making. Is it like something that's like super popular that you can just go to any publisher and then it's like, oh, they got a game like that. So does that publisher and that publisher and that publisher, and then it's like price. The 3 things like price, development, cost / budgeting, and then type of game.
I think it's, well, yeah, I think for me it's like it would be budget, so which directly translates into how big the team is. Super huge teams are not indie developers, no matter who is funding them.
Also true, you can't just have like an indie aesthetic if it's like millions of dollars being put behind this game.
It's like if the seven Assassin's Creed studios made like Super Meat Boy. You'd be like, what? Who embezzled? This doesn't make any sense.
Maybe no one embezzled. It just
actually
making really games is hard,
that
guys.
Makes sense. That makes sense. Like why, like a team like Guerrilla or Naughty Dog is like when they like go to make their game that's like like their take a break game from like Uncharted or take a break game from Killzone. It's like something else that's like super high production value craziness of Horizon or The Last of Us. It's like, yeah, we don't want to. We could maybe like make some, retro style platformy weirdness game, but whatever, man.
I think they would have to like fire people because there wouldn't be enough stuff for things like for people to do, and so you could either continue to pay them and like be a good employer and like care about your employees, or you could be like, 90% of the staff isn't doing anything. We should just lay them all off.
Oh my.
That would be kind of cool if they did basically like true take a break games. So it's like 90% of the staff is gonna have like you're gonna have rolling vacations, like 12-week vacations. 90% of the staff is gone. 10% of the staff makes a sort of retro aesthetic game that 30 people would make, and then it's like, yeah, cool. Take a break games. But no, that probably wouldn't happen. 'Cause money. Evil.
Money, dear boy.
Oh, actually, there was a or not. I'm trying to think like Factor. I think there was something like where he commented on something about this. It was this week because I was watching. I was like, but it wasn't the same topic. It was something we talked about last week with the Well, the topic wasn't here, but we talked about the like the things you love and the things you hate in the industry. And then he mentioned the whole games as a service thing, which gamer was like, I love games. I can just jump on like a ride and ride forever. And then he mentioned the whole like how it's killing retail as far as like sales and stuff. As far as like some person's gonna buy a game, and that's the only game they're gonna play for however long, and they're not gonna come back and get some other game because they're just gonna be playing that game, and it turns into. I mean, he didn't say the Aimless style chin machine, put money in, nothing comes out, but it's essentially the same points that we've been making. I was like, it's like Factor did it. Oh man, we're on the same trajectory. I feel so validated. It's great.
But then on the flip side, like, I guess it's capturing more core gamers who used to buy more than one game a year. Because the thing is, like, the majority of people who buy systems only have like 1 or 2 games that they play for the whole year. Like, they were doing that already. It's just now, throughout the year, they have like new stuff for that one game.
He mentioned like the whole like it was kind of a byproduct of like the consolidation of all the publishers, of how you've like had so many die from like or just like go to the wayside, like Midway and Acclaim and Atari and THQ, and like how, like, since there's like so many mega publishers now, which are kind of like the only ones left because everybody else has been like phased out. Like, they have like these games that they put out, and then they just constantly put new content in them, and then people are buying them, and then it's like, even though the number of games or the games they're putting out are down, the profits that they're making off of the games are up because of the microtransactions in them that people are spending money on. So it's like, oh, curses! Publishers are winning now. Dang it! This model's terrible. Ah, no! Stop buying microtransactions, people. Whatever. So after I heard him say that, I was like, oh, dang, I didn't know that. And I feel super terrible because that's, whatever. What can you do about it, man? Money, dear boy, money. Huh. That's why they're all doing the money, dear boy, money all the time.
Money.
And it's working.
Delicious money.
Publishers.
It tastes like candy.
But yeah, like, because what RPG said, it depends on the indies you're talking about. Like, I think that proves that the line is pretty non-existent for people who don't follow developers and stuff like that. Like, if you just look at games, like, you would not think that Hellblade, without playing it, you would not think that Hellblade was made by the number of people that it was. Or there are lots of ridiculously good-looking, like, indie games. Like, they look like they have really high production values. And you just wouldn't know without actually knowing that they were indies.
Is that game company a big team? They're not a big team, are they?
They're not a huge team now.
Yeah, because their stuff's good. And it looks pretty.
Yeah. What was the second part?
do they need to compare to?
Do they need to compare to AAA games? I kind of think they do. Well, Um, I guess yes and no. On the one
Depends on
hand,
what you mean by
Cause I remember when like
compare.
the Scribblenauts developers like they made that game and it's like super popular, and then like they like went and did their own thing after they did those two games, and it was like some Gears of War clone or something that was like a third-person shooter with like anti-gravity mechanics,
yeah.
and it's like, not really interested, and then I never played it. So yeah,
What game was
Was
this?
I forget what it was called,
I forget what it's called too.
but it was sort of like
I'll look it up.
it was sort of like Vanquish. You like boosted quickly from cover to cover. It was like a cover shooter, sort of. Vanquish. Yeah, because like I think on the one hand, standards are a lot higher for consumers, like people buying. So there is a bar that has to be crossed as far as presentation, just like seeing it, because I think that's generally the biggest hurdle. Like there are actually so many games now that it is hard to be even noticed, and so from the indie perspective, like you do need to look good enough that you can get noticed, and then once you're noticed, then you can like wow people with your like unique mechanics and stuff like that, because you know most games do have unique mechanics. It's just no one knows about them. Although maybe not as unique as you think. There was a game, what was it called? Done to Death, I think. Is that what it was called? Maybe. It was basically a platformer where all of your bodies would remain. And
I
then
think you
could,
mentioned
like,
it before. You can
yeah.
like use the bodies for
Yeah, you could
stuff.
like this guy died on these spikes. Like, well, now there's no more spikes because I can just like walk across this guy's body, which is still impaled on the spikes. I saw that and I was like, wow, this is super unique. And then after I found out like all these other games that had the same mechanic that existed around the time that one came out or before they came out, and I was like, maybe it's not that unique. Maybe everything has been done. We just don't know it. How I was talking about how impressed I was by Player Unknown's Battlegrounds, sort of how that works. And it turns out H1Z1, King of the Kill, I think it's called, has those exact same mechanics. Like, it was made by the same guy. And I was like, oh. And then I was like, wait, it's called King of the Kill. I guess it is like King of the Hill, just on a much larger scale. I was like, oh, so yeah, a lot of this stuff is out there.
I guess another thing to consider would be like if you look how Nintendo is like leveraging the indies, it's kind of like similar to the way PlayStation did when they like, first launched PS4, and they didn't have like a lot of first-party stuff coming out. So it's like they'd had like a lot of exclusives. So it's kind of like, you know, to like pad for time, because you like still need to like get out all your killer hits. It's like, you need unique experiences that you can't get anywhere else. And then they're like, oh, these indie guys, they make these weird games that are experimental and interesting. I mean, sure, some of them might like look whatever, or just like not as good as like that stuff, but it's like it's so different and unique and like out there that's like, you know, on the mechanic side and just like the visuals aesthetic, it's like I think we'll be drawn to this. It'll be something we can tout as like, oh, check this out. You're not gonna see this on XYZ or our competitors' platforms.
Pretty much. Oh, well, so two things. One, PlayStation, like, they have really figured out sort of the game release ecosystem now. They understand that the fall is for their big third-party partners, and the summer is for, like, the indie, like, smaller stuff, so they still do that. Or summer and spring, they do that, like, those promotions for like the small games that are coming out that are interesting, and like VR played a part of that in this year. And then they do their big like first party releases come out. The big ones come out in like January, February, March.
Yeah.
And it's like, huh, they have figured out this pretty well, and it doesn't seem like the other ones are doing that. Like Mario is coming out on the day that the biggest third-party games are coming out. And it's like, well, you know, if Assassin's Creed was coming out on Switch, yeah, I would be very sorry.
But it's not.
But it's not.
So it's fine.
So I don't care. And then the other thing is, I guess like Game Informer was talking about, they watched the Nindies thing and came back kind of mad at Nintendo, because Nintendo, one, they felt that it was like Nintendo has always tried to get indies, and they've called it something different this time. But it's still sort of the same thing that they've been trying to do all the time. So they're like, well, that's weird. And then the other thing is they used the word exclusive a lot, but instead of like Microsoft style, like console launch exclusive or whatever, where it's all technically correct, but sort of misleading, Nintendo's were apparently like just outright wrong, misleading. Like, I guess they said the Kentucky Route Zero release is exclusive to Switch. But then, like, the next day, PlayStation was tweeting, oh yeah, we're getting that one on PlayStation, the exact same version. It's like... And apparently it was like a running theme of the Nindies showcase.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, it's also
So they're all like,
it's
what
gonna
the
have
heck,
the release dates
Nintendo?
for, like, later on, and it's like, I'm so confused right now.
Yeah.
It's like there's no specific date, it just has a year. Ugh, whatever. But I do know when I saw Floor Kids, I was like, oh man, I'm getting that day when it comes to PS4, because that is like, I mean, it may not be the exact game of like when they had the tester episode of like, we're going to make a sweet dance-off game and we're never going to get that game, but it's like close enough to like, whatever, man. I'll get what I can take. I also looked up the name of the Scribblenauts people. It's Fifth Cell, and that game that they made was called Hybrid.
Ah, yes.
I don't even remember that game existing, but I do remember Scribblenauts. So
I
mean,
remember
guess
talking Scribblenauts on this podcast. Way, way back in the beginning of my time on the podcast.
during the not dark timeline.
But yeah, for me, I would say that indie games do compare to AAA games. I mean, I don't think they necessarily need to, though, because it's a very apples and oranges type of thing. Because even for me on my PS4, when I have, like, the folders, I have them set to, like, you know... I mean, today I changed the name of, like, the high dollar stuff to, like, a different folder, because I thought that was a stupid name. Cause I just couldn't figure... I mean, because, like, I said, like...
The high dollar games.
Because I said, like, that was, like, one of the indicators of, like, something that's, like, indie or whatever, like a mid-tier or low-tier release, as far as like, oh, this is a lot of budgeting or a lot of production values in this game. It's like the price it launches at. But then I basically just changed it to like MSRP 40 plus, because those are usually like the bigger. And by bigger, I don't mean like, oh, you get this many hours out of it. I just mean like, you know, the amount of people working on it and the production values and the funding and all that stuff I talked about earlier. But as far as like the, you know, aesthetic and the feel and the mechanics, like the folder I have for like all that stuff is like something different, because it's like if I want to play something different, which is something outside the mold of like just a... I mean, we don't really have this issue this console generation like we did last gen, where it was just like, you know, so many Unreal Engine generic brown shooter dudes of like, or dude shooters of like, you know, oh, I'm just a space marine or a soldier in the Middle East somewhere shooting brown people, like, you know, there's not a bunch of games that have like the same aesthetic artistically. That's just like, this is just a clone of a, you know, generic shooter action whatever game. So it's like, you know,
This generation, the default is open world,
It is.
which is
It really is.
kind of crazy. Like, I can't think of any open world indie games. Right? Are there?
I have no idea because I'm still trying to figure out what makes a game an indie game.
Yeah.
guess
You know it when you see it,
Thank
but you don't.
goodness.
Yeah, like the line is very fuzzy now. It's a fuzzy line.
there are some games that are very large indie games, but I don't think there are any that I'm thinking like in my brain that have like hub areas that
Yeah,
have
this
multiple.
is there like a Grand Theft Auto
I don't think there
indie
are.
game?
That could be wrong though. But yeah, like for me, like the whole differentiator thing is like, you know, because like even like aesthetic aside, they can't compare to them just because like, you know, when I play something, it's all about the experience. So it's like, you know, if I play Abzu or Journey or
Is Journey an indie game?
I'd say it's indie. Or The Witness, or any like Jonathan Blow, 'cause he's the only person that works on his games. And then like Super Meat Boy, the Super Meat Boy, like, you know, as long as it's like a fun game and I'm having fun, I don't really care about the effing other crap as far as like the development team size or the budget that went into it or the how much it costs. As long as it's fun, which is like one of the good, like the upsides of the indie games. Like, you know, they're usually cheaper. I like the skill, like, or that's another thing I use as far as like the price thing is like, you know, you can get a like every week on PSN there's like a sale, and like there's usually like at least probably one game that's like a smaller, if not indie, like a mid-tier developer publisher that's like, oh, this isn't quite AAA, but it's, you know, if you're looking for something different, something fun to play, here you go. And it's not $60 of, oh, this is a very pretty game, but it has no soul, and it's kind of empty, and there's like a ton of microtransactions or DLC that are like, you know, unnecessary fluff and filler that's, you know, you don't need to have in that game, but we put it all in because it took like 24 months, not years. That would be ridiculous. Duke Nukem Forever, I don't even think it took that long, but 24 months. And this is what, you know, we just had to kick it out the door, 'cause, you know, better than nothing. And, you know, all
Actually,
those,
Duke Nukem Forever came pretty close, didn't it?
all those terrible things we say in interviews about
No,
games like
not
that.
25 years.
Wasn't it like some
Or not 24 years. It was
some like ridiculous number, like 20 or something?
No, it was like 10 something. Was it
Are you
20?
sure? I
Hold
could
on,
have sworn it was
let me-
more than
Let
that.
me ask my phone. How do I do this? Okay, Google. How long did Duke Nukem Forever take to develop?
According to Wikipedia, the video game Duke Nukem Forever spent 15 years in development from 1996 to 2011.
Oh, 15
15
years. I was
years.
like, I knew it was, I thought it was
Okay.
pretty close. I was like, it was pretty close. It's up there.
Thanks, Google.
Things Google.
I love talking to machines. I hope they don't kill us.
They will. They inevitably will. Because we warned ourselves. But we never listen.
I've actually never did that with my phone before, so I'm glad it worked.
Well, you've already started
never used that feature.
You've started it. You've now made it sentient. And it's going to
Yeah,
kill you
even
in
I
your
mean,
sleep.
but then like this very cool thing to me, like when I look at games, is like from their aesthetic, I can see like, is this like a fun, different take on a genre, or is this just like we're gonna cash in and like rip off something else that's super popular from a AAA side? Because it's like, if you look at Strafe, it's just like a weird throwback to like olden times, but like very like the aesthetic is the not quite Minecraft, but it's just very, you know, different style than like the typical first-person shooter, and it's just like a throwback to that time. And like if you look at, you know, first-person shooters, like, well, any really from like the AAA side, they're just so similar. It's like I can probably tell if I'm gonna like it or not, or if I'm gonna be interested based on, you know, whatever the setting, and yeah, just like the setting. If it's in the future, you're good. If the farther you get back in the past, I could get less.
Well, because it's
I
usually
didn't
like
do the
really
right
high
thing, yeah.
fantasy and they do the not future stuff, so... Well, sometimes.
Yeah, it's like the farther you lean on like the fantasy, sci-fi, future the more happier I am.
Love sci-fi.
On the other hand, if you're all, we're going to go to the Middle East and shoot brown people. Yeah, modern warfare. Woo! It's like, been there, done that. Sorry. No interest.
We've been there and done that a lot.
You think this year people are looking forward to going and shooting Nazis?
I think with the whole punching Nazi thing, probably.
That is just weird coincidence.
Is it
Or
though?
Is it?
Is it?
It is weird because
This is the timeline we live in, guys.
it seems like there was such a amount of like Nazi zombie. I mean, outside of Call of Duty, just like Nazi zombie games, and then like now it's come full circle of like let's go back to World War II and Call of Duty.
Go back and kill more Nazis.
It's like it just never gets old or something. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird.
They're gonna melee the entire game so they can just punch Nazis in the face.
They need killing now.
More than ever. More than ever. But it's fine though. I mean, I feel like it's hard to compare like indies and I guess AAAs if I could figure out what the difference between them were, because it's like it's one of those things where
Just from like a quality perspective, I would say.
I don't know, because for me it's like quality is kind of subjective too when you think about it, because like I can probably guess which games I played this year are in,
personal
but it's like,
RPG.
but it's and I've enjoyed them immensely because like what was it, the Sexy Brutale and Children of the Zodiac Killer thingy, those I'm assuming those are both indie titles because
One of them was Kickstarted, so it probably is. If you're on Kickstarter,
Okay,
you're
so-
definitely not taking that
Definitely.
publisher money.
Good. So then yes.
Shamu
So then-
is.
Oh yeah, that's
Okay,
true.
Tropical,
Shamu
that-
is-
That's like a anomaly, okay? It's like, this is like, if you guys want this dream to happen, give us your money, and we gave them their money, and it's like, okay, we'll make your dream, because this is the year of
Huh.
dreams.
Mighty Number 9 also did that.
Maybe that's like a asterisk.
They were both published by the same one.
I think okay. I think that's the thing. Is like there's like an asterisk there of like it's on the AAA side, but like the risk is too high for anybody to be like, we can't just front you the money, dudes, because money, dear boy, money, as they tap their watch of like we got cake factories to maintain. We can't take a risk on some rogue cake factory that's not going to produce our sweet cakes. Okay.
Rogue Cake Factory.
It's just a cupcake factory instead of a full cake factory.
We've had many factories in the past, just like, we were funding them, they started doing their own thing, and then timetables just got out of whack, and the quality of our cakes went down, or whatever was in our cake
And
factories.
then they started selling bread. And we're like, what?
And it was unacceptable. And we're not going to do it anymore, and take risks on you rogue cake factories, so it's not happening. And so they're like, well, you have this sweet game, it's going to cost a lot, dudes, which is why we're going to Kickstarter, and, if you want it to happen, give us your money, and we gave them their money. So yeah. And now Unsung Stories in the same boat, so it's like, we gave them money, but then it's like, we need new management at the cake factory. And hopefully, it'll, Little Orbit can come in and save the day. Hopefully. We'll see.
Huh. I just had a thought. The entertainment industries should lobby for more paid vacation so that people have more time to play their products, and so we buy more of them. It makes so much sense.
I mean, technically, when they basically
Yeah.
they progresses from there, I was like, can
Yeah,
I move?
because
here?
there's a whole thing of like, I'm going on holiday there. It's like, that doesn't exist here. You don't
Yeah.
just get
Yep.
holiday.
They were like, oh yeah, we're on holiday for the next 4 weeks. I was like, how do you what?
It's like, how do I
And
get this?
apparently in which one? Finland, I think, or no, France, Italy. They have an extra month salary. They get 2 salaries for the work of 1 in December
Oh,
to pay for the vacations that they have the time off to take.
yeah,
We live in the wrong place.
we do.
At least our games are cheaper.
I guess.
If we can buy them. Do we have time to play them?
We don't have to. I was say we don't have time to play them though, because we don't get month holidays just to start. So
Yeah, I think if people had longer vacations here, they could spend them at home playing games. Otherwise, you just feel like I need to go out because I only get 10 days. What were we talking about?
Thing about indie video games, and how they can be amazing and or horrible, depending on the developer.
I was gonna say that, like, I think this is gonna probably work to Nintendo's benefit just because their games are more on the zany side anyway. So since they already have like that audience baked into their platform, they might gravitate towards those types of games, and it might be exist. Who knows?
The zany aficionados.
I mean, in all fairness, they made a game about an ex-plumber and a bunch of rabbits, so you know.
That was all Ubisoft.
Yeah, none of their games
Well,
are exactly
they
based,
approved it.
or not based. None of them are exactly grounded in reality. So you know.
There's that one.
They have gravity.
I mean, yeah, I mean, you can't just
I
float
mean,
everywhere.
They're not exactly on
They're
the
grounded
realistic spectrum.
in a type of reality. Just not
It's not
ours.
necessarily ours, yeah. A reality.
Yeah.
Because
I
PS4
think
side,
the
it's like it's
line-
more of an appetizer before or after the main meal that you're waiting for to come out whenever quarter it is in or not in.
I think it is very blurred now. That's why they do need to be able to stand up to the AAAs because they're all just games now. It used to be, you could be like, oh, I want this zany experience. And I feel like it's less like that now.
I feel
It's
like
not
they're
enough to be
good.
zany.
Just
You gotta be
depends on the developer.
good looking too.
Oh, I want to say something so bad, I'm not going to though.
Say it. I want to know.
What are you gonna say, RPG?
I want to know.
No, you're gonna say something before that about whatever topic was
I
talking
wasn't.
about. No, don't worry about
I
it.
want to know what you were going to say. I want to know
It's just that thing on,
what you're
on
thinking.
social media. People say, find you a whatever you're into that is blah 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 blah. And when Tropical said that, I was like, it's not good enough to be zany, but you have to be zany and good looking. Find you a video game that's zany and good looking.
Find you one that can do both. That kind of sort of thing.
Not do both RPG, just be zany. Well, yes, be zany and good looking, if that's the both that you mean.
That's me! Except I'm human, and not a video game. And also not a plumber. Or technically, I guess neither is he, so guess that works out.
Yeah. Before I looked at the news before the show, the only news I remember from this week was Destiny 2 is coming out, and Mario is no longer a plumber.
I mean, was he ever, though? I mean, let's be honest
like,
here.
What?
Let's be honest.
It's actually funny because I think outside of Donkey Kong, he might not have been. I think it was only in the Super Show, and then only in Donkey Kong. But I don't think in the Super Mario Brothers series that he's ever referenced as being a plumber. I'd have to look at the instruction manual.
Apparently, Miyamoto said that with Donkey Kong, Jumpman was basically a carpenter.
Well, that's not the
But
same thing
then
at
when
all.
they had pipes and underground in the Mario Brothers games, that's when they decided maybe plumber makes sense. But no, yeah, I don't think Mario is actually. He might be human, but I don't think he's from Earth. I think he is a Mushroom Kingdom native.
Oh dear.
We did just talk about how the games aren't grounded in reality.
Here comes the crazy boards.
Well, he's not really human. He's just a
I don't
humanoid.
think he's actually human. Yeah, he's just humanoid in the sense
dear.
that he has arms, legs, and a face.
We don't even know what his internal organs are like, so who knows?
I mean, who knows what eating all those mushrooms and flowers and other things do to you? over
I mean, in
time.
all fairness, he does look a bit off, if you think about it. Because, I mean, and now that Mario Odyssey is happening, it's like it's even more noticeable, because now he's going to be like...
He's like a midget man.
Yeah, it's just very strange looking now.
Because proportionally, he looks fine when he's standing by himself.
Or next
Then it
to mushroom
yeah.
people.
Then when
which
he's
are
next
also
to
not human.
the regular people in what's the city called? Like
New Donk City.
New Donk City. It's like he is not even up to people's waists.
He's weird. And disproportionate. And also not a plumber.
Or a human.
Unless plumber means something and something else in the mushroom kingdom that we don't know about.
Miyamoto to say that. Well, actually, all these years, he was never a human. He was just a humanoid from the Mushroom Kingdom. One of the mushroomers, or
Like
whatever they're called.
And plumber was actually code for hitman. He was actually a hitman to kill Bowser. It's like,
Lena. But he
What
does
is
it in a certain way that would fit a plumber.
it's like can I have what he's been smoking? Because it sounds amazing. It's like I can see how people could get that confused since there's a plumber in English. It's like, well, yeah, I mean, it's an actual job, so what you expect to happen? It's like, but what I really meant was, it's like, oh,
I have a particular set of skills.
that I've gained over my career makes me a nightmare for people like you. It involves murdering turtle-like people. It's like, that's oddly specific. It's oddly specific. There's a lot of mysteries about the Mario series that'll probably never be answered. Like the fact that the Koopa Kids exist, despite the fact that there's no female Bowser. So it's like, well... we have
Unless they're all
questions.
peaches.
Oh,
Question.
I don't know.
But then that opens up a lot more questions.
I'm just saying, because Baby Bowser
So,
came out
I
of
mean-
nowhere, and it's like, well, the only real candidate for this is just saying, who could you have popped out of?
For some kid kidnapped an awful lot. For someone who's supposed to be like royalty and probably well guarded.
Well, you know, RPG, maybe in order to keep the rating down from the ESRB, they just kept that part out. I mean, she was kidnapped and other stuff happened, but all we know about is the kidnapping, on the record, for the record.
Oh dear.
Wow.
The Mario universe.
Or, you know, maybe Bowser just, like, adopted them from, like, some orphanage of turtle children. Who knows? Who knows? We'll never know.
But then who
Well,
was
he's
were
got
the
lots of turtles, right? Maybe he just like stuck accessories on them and they became the Koopa Kids.
Yeah, but they look different from kind of like how Mario looks different from normal humans because he's obviously not human. The Koopa Kids look a lot different from his normal turtle minions. He looks different from his normal turtle minions. So it's like
Lots of accessories, like
I
plants and stuff.
I have questions. I have questions.
I don't have the answers.
That's what worries me because I'm not sure if anyone actually does. Not sure if anyone actually does. Because that is kind of like one of the riddles for the ages. Is like, where did the Koopa Kids come from? Because it's like, well,
Maybe they were failed clones. He's like, well, I'm not gonna kill them. I'll just make them. I'll make them believe that they're my children.
So
I'll
wait, he
make
has
them
all this scientific know how to
precocious
make
little
clones, but I
scamps.
didn't think they're just clone peaches that are constantly kidnapping her. I mean, I'm just saying.
Sometimes RPG, you need the genuine article, if you know what I'm saying.
But
Pushy,
a clone
pushy, pushy.
would be the genuine article.
Pushy, pushy.
It would be an exact. It
Oh
would
my.
be an exact genetic copy.
It's
And
not-
all you would
it's
have
not
to,
a-
and he could actually train her to love him. Without kidnapping her.
But knowing that there's another one out there that's exactly the same would be unacceptable. That doesn't
don't-
love him unconditionally.
But she could love him unconditionally because she would be his like brainwashed clone lady.
Creepy.
So I guess we're done with the
Technical.
question of the week. We can go into
I
Yay!
think Bowser's scientific know-how he shouldn't trespass upon.
I mean, he had like 8 completely different airships that he made for like each different Mushroom Kingdom. That's like super. and,
Yeah,
like,
but he had that-
castle he
Get
built.
that wizard guy though, so I'm assuming that was
Oh,
magic.
Maybe it's magic RPG. Yeah, it's like maybe it's not technology. Maybe
But once
it's
again,
magic.
if he had this much magical power, he could have just made a magical clone. Unless maybe Daisy is supposed to be a clone and she's a failed clone like his children. Oh
wonder
no.
Wario exists. That
Oh,
makes
no.
so much sense.
That's true, because like Wario and Waluigi are both like not right. So, I mean, So many questions that I don't know if Nintendo will bother to answer because that would violate the whole kids understanding thing, and they'd be like, we can't do that to our fans.
Yeah, some of those parts
Because kids are going to ask questions.
pretty dark.
They're like, Mommy, what does this mean? It's like, oh my gosh, where did you learn this?
All right, so news. Yes, Nintendo Indies, one of the games that they showed off was a follow-up to No More Heroes called Travis Strikes Again, No More Heroes. So I guess it's going to be the third in the series. The trailer was interesting because they were playing Hotline Miami in it. Does that mean anything?
That
You-
means
have you
Hotline
heard
Miami's
anything
coming
about
to the
this?
Switch.
Is Hotline Miami going to be on this in the game or on the Switch? I
I
don't
have no
know.
idea. I'm just making rumors up. Spread it.
Um,
I'm kind of excited though, because I enjoyed the No More Hero games.
here's another thing about indies being just as big or whatever, like cultural phenomenons as non-indie games. PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds has sold 10 million copies. It is not even out yet.
Wait, what?
This is just beta. It doesn't have a release date. It sold 10 million copies. In fact, I think it was also the most played game on Steam. It beat Dota 2.
Oh my.
So it's
The Dota?
pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. I guess I only had 3 news things. The third thing is Dead Rising 4, which was published by Microsoft on the Xbox One as an exclusive, is coming to PS4 as a complete edition at the end of the year, I think it was. It's called Dead Rising 4 Frank's Big Package.
Voucher go wow. They were asking for that.
I think that's what it's supposed to be.
Good.
which just makes the whole exclusive thing really, really strange this
Yeah, I
generation.
saw that and it made me think back to last gen with Bioshock and Mass Effect and Dead Rising. Oh,
Yep.
it's like
And actually, Ninja Gaiden was like that too.
Or was it
Ninja Gaiden was actually published by Microsoft as well.
Wasn't Lost Planet that way too? Or was that Capcom just published it or something?
No, I think Lost Planet was actually published by Capcom.
Okay.
But yeah.
Bioshock was definitely, because when that came over and so did Mass Effect and everybody was just like, exclusives are lies?
They mean nothing. As long as your
It
platform is
became-
ahead.
Money.
As long as there's money to be made.
I wonder how the Cake Factory analogy would go on that one.
Would basically be like some back alley bakery and then like a French bakery, basically. And that's pretty much how that would go.
A back alley doesn't make any sense.
But they exist. Sometimes you need a black market cake. Sometimes you need a regular cake.
Do you?
Hey,
How often does that happen?
very. You'd be surprised. It's a large market for.
I'm
Back
surprised
alley.
right now. And I didn't know about the back alley bakeries yet. So that's
Yeah, they're a thing.
cool. So yeah, that's part of the news then. Back alley bakeries. Sometimes you need them.
Because sometimes a cake factory won't make the cake you want. Because they're like, oh no, it's too explicit. You can't write that on a cake. And it's like, all right. Totally put whatever I want on this cake, and you can't stop me. And then you get your back alley cake people. And they're like, we got you. All we need is a small deposit and no questions asked. And then, yeah, next thing you know, you got your cake. And you can eat it too.
Cool.
Do you happen to remember what the PSN Plus games are, Tropical?
Oh yeah, that was news as well. Yes, I do. PSN PS Plus new games are out now. This month has two what we would consider to be AAA games.
Yeah.
Yes. I guess we would consider them that because we put them on discs. That's another thing.
But
So
I
yeah.
mean, wait, no, because Sucker Punch is an indie studio, aren't they?
No, they're owned by Sony.
Oh.
They are
Now.
Sony.
Oh, I completely
Wow.
forgot about that. As far as like if it's not a publisher-owned studio, it's still technically independent. Like
Because Insomniac was like,
Insomniac and
Insomniac
Epic,
is
yeah.
the biggest. And to a lesser extent, well, I guess Double Fine is much smaller. So yeah, the PS4 games for the month are Infamous Second Son and Child of Light from Ubisoft.
what?
Wait, Child of Light?
Child of Light?
Is that right?
I don't
sure?
remember reading that, Tropical.
It's hard to say, because I didn't see
That's the
that
wrong
either.
list.
But I will gladly download it for free.
Yeah, I was about to say, I wanted to play that game.
I'm checking the thingy now because I'm pretty sure that's not right.
That can't be right.
Actually, I could ask my phone because I want to ask my phone. That's way more fun.
Cool.
And this is how it starts.
More robots.
Okay,
I
Google.
love them.
Next thing you know,
What
we're enslaved
are
and
the
plugged in
PlayStation
batteries.
Plus games for free this month? Oh, give me a website. It didn't.
Ah.
Probably because you weren't specific enough. It's possible that the games are different based
You
on the
can't have
region,
my
too.
news job yet, Google.
Yeah, it's.
Could you
it is
imagine just
not-
be like,
it's not
okay, Google,
effing,
what is the gaming news for this week? It's
Oh, let
like,
me ask it that. It's gonna give me a bunch of websites. It's not gonna give me a specific thing.
Unless it does, in which case, Tropical's out of a job.
Okay, Google. What are the video game news stories for this week? It gave me another list of websites.
Okay, good.
But the free plus games are Infamous Second Son, Strike Vector EX, Rigs, Mechanized Combat League, We Are Doomed, Hatoful Boyfriend, the pigeon dating simulator, Truck Racer,
Because why not?
and
Which I
Handball
already own.
16.
Wait, is Hateful Boyfriend on the Hateful, whatever?
Yeah,
It's a
all of
pitching
those
game.
except for Truck
But
Racer
is
and
it-
Handball are on PS4. But I also think like different territories had different games this month for some reason.
Wait, that one's a
Light
PS4
is
title?
Different territory. Which one?
The pitching game.
Handball? Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it's
Like-
on PS4.
So I can date
Well, it's-
pigeons on my PS4?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, this is happening.
Huh. So either Child of Light is just totally wrong, or it's for a different region.
Oh, maybe it is for a different region then. Because
I
I,
want
think
Shadow
so.
Light. Oh, well.
I would have wanted that
Maybe I
one,
already
yeah.
have it.
I already have it too.
Well, I don't, though, so.
I need
for
to check
me-
something because I'm not sure. It's possible I do though.
Also, Riggs Mechanized Combat, if you have PSVR, is free this month.
I said the tropical.
You said that?
said-
Yeah, I said Rigs,
You said Riggs.
Oops.
which I think is like the first VR game that's on PS Plus.
Yeah, it's the first PS Plus feature.
The first of many.
Hopefully.
I mean, it won't matter because I'll be too busy dating pigeons, but yeah. Good news for people who have PlayStation, or who has PSVR and PlayStation
Them in
Plus.
VR.
When you date them in VR, you date them in real life.
Yikes.
I'm surprised the game doesn't
Yikes.
exist yet.
Yes.
Japan, get on that.
What, a game where you get stuck in it, and
No.
if you die in it, you die in real life? Because
The
we've
weird-
already warned ourselves of that, too.
The weird VR dating sim game that nobody asked for, but Japan was like, "Hey guys, we made this game.
You gon'
It's
get it."
creepy.
I think that's what Summer Lessons is, actually.
That's a tutor or whatever.
Yes. It's a
Simulator.
tutor simulator.
Which is
Haven't you ever heard of people
Just
falling in love with their
creepy.
tutors?
not the same.
It's like a thing.
It's not
Like
the
an
same.
actual thing.
Sure, the creep factor and potential is high, but it's not the same RPG. Okay.
I don't know. I've had many a steamy summers with a tutor. So, you know, it's a thing. I'm kidding, of course, because I would never do that, but just saying. See it in movies all the time. People fall for their tutors. Next thing you know, scandal erupts, and it's just a mess. Next thing you know, you're dating pigeons.
Weird.
I don't make the rules, guys. I don't make the rules. But seriously, though, I am curious about this pigeon dating simulator thing. It sounds weird. And I'm into weird. Not in that way.
Okay. Well, that's that for this episode, I guess, because you know what better way to end it than with weird. Anything to say before we sign off, RPG?
Keep dating those pigeons?
Anything to say before we sign off, Tropical?
More paid vacation. Do it, entertainment industries. Lobby for us. We will reward you with
Woo.
purchases.
You know, think about it, but
Well, I mean, I don't have that issue. But yeah, I would buy more games if I had more time.
that's true.
Okay, so yeah, check us out on aimlesspodcast.com, Aimless Babble Z, on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, wherever else on the internet. And yeah, wow, I had to sign off and I completely forgot it. So I'll just end with the classic. Oh wait, I remembered it now. Stay safe in the darkest timeline, and you know, when all else fails, just whisper and hope it brings you something to calm you in your darkest time. Boozhoo, boozhoo, boozhoo.